Good Bolt fam, and welcome to another edition of BoltBlitz Uncut. I'm your host, Booga Peters. Thank you so much for joining us. It's Sunday, so you know that our co-host on the scene, our O-line and tight end specialist and sympathetic Chargers fan at this point, now that the season's over, Aiden Simons. We're going to answer a lot of questions tonight. We're going to talk about Daboll or McDaniel is the better offensive coordinator choice. We're going to talk about who should the Chargers re-sign. And then we're also, before we even get to most of that, we're going to talk a little bit about the Ortiz and Harbaugh end of the year press conference. It was it left a lot to be desired, but I do believe that there are some things that everybody, even the most casual of fan nor the most advanced of fan, can glean from what we have to provide for y'all. Again, thank you so much for tuning in, not only here on YouTube, but for the first time tonight on Facebook as well. We really appreciate y'all. Aiden Simons, I know you're doing well because we've been talking for a little bit. Let's get right to it. We're just going to start with what I believe will be a short conversation regarding the offensive coordinator choices between Brian Daboll, former head coach of the New York Giants, and then, of course, Mike McDaniel, former head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Your choice and why, and I know where you're going with this, and I think I'm kind of leaning your way.
So if I had to choose between those two, I'm going for Daboll because no matter what, McDaniel's always going to be a big name when it comes to the head coaching role. He's one of those guys that as an offensive coordinator, he's going to get the opportunity every coaching cycle to just dip out and go elsewhere. So his offense, you need 2 to 3 years of building the right personnel. You can't install his offense in 1 year. So you're going to get a mishmash of something that's not really going to look like his offense. You're not going to have a Tyreek Hill. You're not going to have a Jalen Waddle. You're not going to have the full force of an offensive line that runs under him. His center is one of the
Aaron Brewer.
He's going to be the one of the favorites for NFL Protector of the Year this year. You need 2 or 3 good free agency and good draft signings. You can't just install his offense. So this. My biggest kind of feeling when it comes to him is that if he comes in, he's going to dip when the first opportunity he gets, and you're going to be left having to go through this whole process again, another year, another offensive coordinator. I don't feel as though Daboll would do that. I think he's done that step with head coach. I'm not massively convinced. I think give him the right opportunity, as he did with Josh Allen. He sat there for 4 years. You're going to get a level of time with him. And a 3-year contract signed in this cycle would take you to the natural end of Jim Harbaugh's contract as well. So there could be some level of succession plan in place. I'd be more comfortable with a development plan for Herbert and an offense that tailors to him. Daboll's offense is much more QB friendly. They alter everything and use it to develop a QB rather than just run that kind of Shanahan system, which takes a lot more time and a lot more sort of free agency cycles to actually install.
Well, and honestly, I think that to put a bow on what you're saying is if you bring in a guy like Daboll, there's a better chance of him sticking around than there is McDaniel. Do you want to go through this process again next season where you're having to replace not just the offensive coordinator, but also some of the staff that he brings with him once or if and when he does get a head coaching job? Daboll does seem to have the possibility of a little bit more staying power in my mind. That being said, I would like to say the fact that they're giving Mike McDaniel a shot at this, it's intriguing to me in that he's so opposite of Harbaugh. It shows me that maybe perhaps, unless it's window dressing, that Harbaugh is willing to do whatever it takes to get to that next level, despite getting to a Super Bowl. He obviously lost to his brother at the time. He has yet to win one, and he'd love to win a championship, of course, at this next level.
Yeah,
let's move on to the press conference, let's move on to McDaniel's interview process real quick. You brought up to me when I brought up that he was going to be interviewing with the Raiders for the head coaching position. It's actually on Monday, but it's in Miami.
Yep, apparently so. I called into the verified reports on Twitter. It's in Miami on Monday, and Tuesday in LA with the Chargers. Then Wednesday, we've just found out in the last hour he's going to Cleveland for an interview there for their head coaching role on Wednesday. So he's putting the mileage in this week.
Right on the spot, which job would you take?
Raiders or Cleveland? God, no. I mean, if I was a coordinator in that level, I would want the Chargers job because you're in California. When them taxes are a bit, but you've got, you've got a lot
more for the following season, though.
Yeah, I mean, I would want to take the Chargers OC role because I would also want the succession plan to be able to put down roots and actually have a clear plan in place. A lot of what you're going to see during this process, the Browns have done exactly the same. They're talking to everybody to try and get an idea of everybody else's ideas for what you can do with Justin Herbert, and then they'll try and implement them with whatever guy they go for. I genuinely have zero faith at this point. They're actually going to make the right decision. I think the fans are going to be underwhelmed. I think there's going to be a lot of head coaching roles, and I think the fans aren't going to enjoy it. Don't surprise me if like Shane Day is actually the new OC or some random passing game coordinator. Yeah, as the Chargers have done previously with their head coaches, not go after the big name. They go after some random unnamed coordinator. I'm not. Harbaugh's probably the best hire they've had in the last 20 plus years, and I'm expecting the Chargers to be the Chargers.
If they promote from within, I will be very sad. I might be in the very vast minority here, but I firmly believe that Shane Day is holding Justin Herbert back to some degree. That's a story for another day. Let's get to this press conference, 80. We're talking about the end of the year press conference with general manager Joe Hortiz, then, of course, head coach Jim Harbaugh. Left a lot to be desired as far as I'm concerned. The takeaways that I had that you and I talked about pre-show, Herbert, no input on the offensive coordinator, and it started off, well, he doesn't want to be involved.
Yeah.
And that's juxtaposed to, well, he hasn't been involved yet. Your thoughts on him not being involved whatsoever, and then why did Harbaugh have to switch it up?
Yeah, so I got 3 different quotes from Harbaugh. From Herbert's not involved on the input on the decision. He doesn't want to be the GM, and he's not interested in the process. I'm sorry, but if you're that far in and you have 5 coordinators in, I'm going to be sat in the interviews. I'm going to be sat in the draft room. It's not. At some point, Justin's got to be a leader, and he's got to say, enough's enough. I need to select this. And that's predicated on the fact that we're assuming that they're actually telling us the truth because they don't like telling us much. So, there's a lot to be desired from this interview, assuming that they're actually telling us the truth. They're not.
Additionally, regarding the OC hiring, Hortiz was very clear on there is no timeline on hiring an offensive coordinator. Hortiz literally said, we're exploring all options. If that is the case, great. Exploring all options, though, if it's including Marcus Brady and Shane Day, which we already know have interviewed for the job, in addition to Brian Callahan, speaking of leaving a lot to be desired, those would stick to the same boat. Hortiz, one of the things he brought up, injuries along the O-line and to the running backs. You can't plan to lose a guy like Rashawn Slater and a guy like Joe Alt. Absolutely not. But you can plan to bring back the same interior and depth along the offensive line. Couldn't plan for Najee Harris to blow up his eyeball and then tear his Achilles. And then obviously the freak injuries from Hampton were kind of a fluky thing. But when he was asked about Mekhi Becton, there have been no conversations with Mekhi Becton. Mm-hmm. What are the chances of him coming back, or can Chargers fans rejoice knowing that they may not have to deal with him in any capacity next season?
Well, Becton showed that he was frustrated quite a lot last year. I think there was a press conference about 2-3 weeks ago where Harbaugh kind of demonstrated his frustrations with Becton. I feel like that might be the signal that he's out the door. He didn't want to talk about him. I think the reality is that Becton's probably gone. And to be fair, it's not going to be a sad loss. The guy didn't exactly play like a Pro Bowler. It's amazing how good the guy is when you don't have Lane Johnson, a Hall of Famer,
Jordan Mailata,
who who last year was graded as the highest overall left tackle in the entire nation, and then you have you've got a lot of people masking how bad you actually really are, and that the injury from the injuries he's had this season, they've come back again, and that tweet that I put up in May, I recirculated a couple of days ago, and that got a bit more traction. The injury that he walked into camp with.
Yeah, the K-tape gate. No, we could talk about that till we're blue in the face. Here's another interesting. Listen, my thoughts on Becton. Initially, back in March, obviously the Chargers had needs along the interior of the offensive line. My thoughts were, I want nothing to do with this for all the reasons you pointed out.
Yeah.
Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, just surrounded by very quality. Jason Kelce is an incredible center. And then, of course, the right tackle Lane Johnson is arguably one of the top 3 to 5 right tackles of all time.
Yeah.
He's right there with everybody else. Didn't want anything to do with it. Chargers took a swing on him, and here's why: because they had to do something. Shit, man, they really had to do something. This player is even more controversial than the aforementioned Becton. I don't expect him back, by the way. Becton's gone as far as I'm concerned. I don't know how you can justify it. And boy, this fan base is going to try to light the bolt on fire if they do. But speaking of a more controversial player, during that press conference, the aforementioned press conference we've been speaking about with Joe Ortiz and Jim Harbaugh, no talks about Quentin Johnston and a 5th-year option. But Ortiz did add he's a big fan of Q's, but 80. Why is it that they're not even going to consider picking up his 5th-year option?
Because that 5th-year option is a ridiculous amount of money. So looking at some of the contracts for 2027, you would take the average of the 5 top positions in that position, the 5 top contracts. And as it stands right now, you would be looking at paying Quentin Johnson a guaranteed salary of around $38 million for 1 year. No, decline that 5th-year option, give him a new contract.
Wait, you wouldn't give $38 million for 1 season of Quentin Johnston highlights?
Yeah, fully guaranteed $38 million. It's not even like you would be guaranteeing the guy, regardless of what he does. $38 million would be his cap number, fully guaranteed for a 5th-year option. Nope.
Absolutely not. To kind of wrap up the press conference, at least from my end, and then we'll get 80's kind of breakdown of his perspective regarding the press conference, to kind of respond to a reporter who asked or kind of posed the question with the basis of the Chargers have the most cap space in the NFL this offseason. Do you guys plan to be aggressive? To kind of paraphrase that for y'all out there listening to the Bolt fam. Ortiz, I don't want to spend recklessly. Joe, this isn't about being reckless. This is about really protecting 10. And then there's a lot of holes in a lot of different positions on this team that I feel like will enable you to do so. Depending on who the OC and the DC end up being, there are so many question marks right now regarding how you even answer the way that Ortiz is going to address free agency and then, of course, the draft. But we're here, and we'll be sure to be giving you all the coverage you can stand on BoltBlitz Uncut. 80, back to the Zion thing. Oh, shit, we hadn't even touched on Zion. Excuse me. Zion Johnson. Joe Ortiz said, love seeing the growth that he's made. He's a guy we would love to have him back. You've brought up an Aaron Banks-like contract on Twitter X. If you're not following 80 there, follow him at ADYSIMONS. The type of contract that we are expecting for Zion Johnson is incredibly troublesome, but it sounds like Ortiz is trying to maybe pony up that kind of money. Your thoughts on that?
No. I mean, he's a very average player. Like, he may be like, he has flashes where he's like, a cut above the rest, but the rest of the offensive line is bad. If you track his Pro Football Focus grades across his career, Aaron Banks is probably the closest you're going to get in terms of comparison, who signed for $19.25 million, and his agent will be looking for something along those lines. Daniel Popper from The Athletic, on his show this week, he said that the starting point is going to be around the 17. So Sportrack have his projected salary about 12, I think 11 or 12. I think you're looking more towards the high teens per year. And if you're staying in California, where you're taking 46% off the top straight away, yeah. Like you can afford to take
Miami.
Yeah, you can take 12, 13, 14 million in Tennessee, Florida, anywhere like that, and still actually be better off. So no, you would have to 17 to 19 million as a starting point is not one I'm comfortable with paying him. He's a very average player, drafted by a different GM. You could go out and get somebody else for a lot more. I mean, somebody like Kevin Zietler, he's as old as the Liberty Bell, but he's going to cost half of that. He's gonna actually be a much better player for the 1 year. Then it allows you to hit the draft the following year and actually find the guys that Ortiz wants, not one of Telesco.
I saw you slapping dudes away who couldn't understand the fact that you were like, Zeitler makes sense, man. I would rather go with him. He's reliable, sure. And he is, as Haiti put it, older
actually,
than
I literally just got a message by somebody who's actually watching the show. I've made a mistake on the Quentin Johnson 5th-year option. It's actually now when you look at about 18 and not 38. 18, 1.8 million. I still wouldn't pay it.
Oh, that all?
Yeah, 18 million. So no, it's not the 38 million number that I was quoted. That's for that is for a franchise tag, not for a 5th-year option. So my bad.
Top 5 averages. I just didn't want to bust you out.
Yeah, that's that's a franchise.
I was just gonna roll with it and say that I told you to say that. That way, it would be on me.
Yeah, no. Somebody else messaged me who's watching. It says approximately 17.528 million. Still wouldn't take it.
Oh, still. Fuck no, man. You kidding me? You could sign a good 2 or 3 free agents at various and sundry positions for that, and we already know Ortiz likes to leave a pocket of money anyway.
Yeah, because you like this season with Adafe, you'll be able to find a guy. Give up a really bad safety and a 5th-round draft pick to find a guy who could potentially change your franchise.
Whoever brought that up, we owe him a beer for sure, or 2.
Yeah.
Let's get to these free agents. The Chargers, as Joe Ortiz and Jim Harbaugh mentioned during that press conference, there's a lot of homegrown guys in there. Let's start with the 3. Well, 2 that we agree on for sure, and then the one that's kind of up in the air depending on the price tag, and you touched on him a little bit, but let's start here. Tierra Tart, Adafe, regardless of what the window is surrounding both of those players. Tart, I believe you said, was right around $5 million. I'd pay him more. And then Adafe, around 17 to 19, I would pay him 22. Your thoughts on both of them, and should they re-sign them?
Tierra Tart, yes, but I'd also be looking out for more of a starting nose tackle. I mean, he's listed as a nose. There are 2 or 3 games where the Chargers defense got ran all over this year, where him being handled by a center, reach blocking him and being able to hold him off is the reason why we got run over.
I don't think he was healthy in that stretch. I know what stretch you're talking about, too. It's a 2 or 3.
There was Washington, Indianapolis, and Jacksonville, those games there. Those centers were able to reach block him and just handle him at the line of scrimmage, which allowed the guards to climb up, which meant the yards before contact went up quite a bit in that game. He's a good player, but I want somebody else to anchor my franchise. If somebody like Vega Ione isn't there in the 1st-round draft pick, I would look at somebody who can do it. Yeah, I
got Ioane, please.
Yeah. If he's there, cool. If not, Caden McDonald or there's the kid from Florida. You want a 335-pound guy who's got that length, who can just bust up a double team and get into the backfield. Tart's done a great job, but he's a rotational guy, and you need somebody with a bit of a different skill set.
Adafe.
You need. Depending on who the DC is as well, because the scheme's going to matter a lot. And this is why I'm not doing any of the mock drafts, because you've got to understand the scheme before you start just typing out random names. Like
plugging names in that may not fit at all.
Yeah. It's all very good and saying, let's go get this guy. Okay, well, What he doesn't really, he's not very good at his own running. So what if we hire a guy from the West Coast offense? Doesn't fit.
No.
So yeah, like hold off on any of your mock drafts at this point because it's completely pointless. You're pissing into the wind. It's pointless.
Learn the positions, learn the players, unless you watch college football the entire time. I'm gonna disagree with 80 there, 1,000,000,000%. Trevor Penning on the cheap, yes or no?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So solid player, has positional versatility, which Harbour likes. You need an O-line coach who can develop him though, because he has a chip on his shoulder. He's unnecessarily nasty at the wrong points. He draws a lot of penalties in. He needs a bit of, like I say, mentoring, a bit of coaching. With the right O-line coach, you could have a potential monster on your hands there. Get him in for minimal money for 2-3 years, and it might be the best decision you actually make during this year's free agency period. I would absolutely keep Trevor Penning.
I love that. He's an aggressive guy. We talked about him during the draft process before you were even, quote unquote, BoltBlitz affiliated. Here's the tough one, except for you and me. Keenan Allen, Slayer. Yay or nay, or how easy will it be to see him either play for somebody else or retire?
I wouldn't bring him back. He has his role, and he is Herbert's security blanket. But at the point, him being on the field is detrimental to all the young guys you've got on the field because they're not getting the touches. Yeah, we didn't have a single receiver go over 800 yards. I mean, we had a couple of guys go 5, 6, 7, but Keenan on the field was detrimental to everybody else. I would, these young guys that you've got under contract for the next 2, 3, 4 years, they need the ball. They need to develop, and Keenan gets in the way of that. So
Ladd was pretty frustrated during the end of the year. Post game shit.
Yeah, just by not getting enough of the balls, and then obviously you've got a second-round draft pick who ended up having to be used as a move tight end because he couldn't get onto the field as a receiver. Then you've got guys like KLS. There's only so many balls to go around. I think it's time for Keenan to not be a Charger anymore. And yeah, unless
it's not that it's easy to say. It's just when you look at this thing moving forward, he had a great year. It's not to say he was a hindrance to the team moving forward. It's that what does Ladd's season look like without Keenan there?
Yeah, well, we know what it is from last year as a rookie, but I mean, there's other factors you can kind of attribute towards it. Sophomore slump, second year having tape on his moves and the way he plays. A DB is going to pick up on the way when you're a former DB. You're going to pick up on tape of the guy. His tells, the way he moves.
That's not third down.
Yeah,
third and Keenan.
Yeah, you're going to be able to with Ladd. You're going to be able to look at tape and kind of figure him out. And that's going to be a part of his self-assessment for Ladd this offseason. My initial feeling is that keeping Keenan around kind of slows down the progression of everybody else. So I would be willing to try not having Keenan in the building for a year. Let him go somewhere else.
We already agreed that Tyler Conklin was one of the worst decisions ever. Denzel Perriman, fan favorite. Stay hydrated. The NFL cannot stand this guy when it comes to allowing him to play the game because he's getting fined and suspended all the time. Any chances that Perriman are going to be back, or have we seen him for the last time this time in lightning bolts?
Yeah, I mean, the NFL likes him playing the game, but he's trying to play the game from 1998. It's not quite the same anymore. No, I'd like to see him gone. Again, whoever the new DC is, that's going to be a big part of this. I would like to see somebody else come in. I mean, Troy Dye, Delshon Phillips, they did really well, but they don't strike me as starting quality players. So they would have to go find a guy in free agency to actually come in and do that role. We don't have enough draft capital this year with all the other needs that we've got. So as much as I don't want to see him back, I wouldn't be surprised to see him back, if that makes sense.
Well, especially considering Junior Colson, one of my favorite players from 2 drafts ago, has been completely MIA. Who knows what's happening with him?
Yeah.
You brought him up, Delshon Phillips. As much as you don't want to see him as a starter on defense, he's a must resign, a must have, isn't he?
Oh yeah,
Because of
absolutely.
special teams prowess.
Yeah, I mean he's got a bit of everything. He's come off the edge. He's been your linebacker 3-4 when needed. He's also an absolute demon on special teams. He's a guy you can't afford to keep. He's like an upgrade from Nick Neiman. You have to bring him in if the number looks right to bring him back. You've got to do it. It's not even negotiable.
And I don't think that they're going to be outrageous by any means. The guy, again, has predominantly been a special teamer. He's played for, I believe the Chargers are his 5th team. And if it's his 6th, I'm sorry. I believe it's his 5th. I just had to pick him up on Madden the other day because of the playoffs program that Madden Ultimate Team has going on. And, of course, the Chargers were 1 and done, so that broke my heart. Next player that I think is kind of interesting, Benjamin St-Juste, corner who came over from the Commanders, long, lanky corner who can run in a Minter system, even though Minter's going. So it's hard to kind of prognosticate what it's going to look like. But he played well enough this year that I believe he deserves another shot, depending on the system. Your thoughts?
Yep, I'd echo those thoughts. Now, if Clintzdale is the replacement DC, we don't know who that is yet. I think it would be entirely scheme dependent. If he fits into the scheme, then bring him back by all means. I've got absolutely no problems with him.
Josh Harris, long snapper, immediate yes.
Yeah. I mean, we had a different guy in for a few weeks, and that was
Rick Lopato from Philly.
Yeah, man, that wasn't a good.
And special teams took a big dip. They finished 32nd overall, by the way, at the end of the year.
Yeah, so it's one of those situations where if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Just keep him back, bring him in.
Let me rattle off a couple that we agree on the opposite direction. Andre James, Hassan Haskins, regardless of who the OC and DC are, we could agree they're both gone.
Yeah, let him go.
Here's where we disagree. Deshaun Hand, his market value via PFF, I believe, was around $3.9 million. To me, I see it as an asset in the run game and somebody that you can use on the first 2 downs. But you think that 3.9 is a little pricey for that type of a job being done for a guy that's a little long in the tooth?
Yeah, I mean, he's 30 years old going into the season. You would essentially almost be doubling what he was making last year, going from 2.3 to 3.9. I'm not saying don't re-sign him, but there's a price, and 3.9 is a bit too deep, a bit too steep for my liking.
I'm not too. So here's the deal. I'm not too far off from you. I just believe that, deep down in my heart of hearts, seeing these head coaching positions get filled up in a hurry, I do think there's a very, very small chance that Jim Harbaugh is going to go to Dean Spanos and say, "Pay Minter."
Yeah,
I really do believe in that. So that being said, in my heart of hearts, guys like St-Juste, run stoppers like Deshaun Hand, add some youth to that group to back up a Tier Tart, and then of course Jamari Caldwell, whom they drafted, perhaps overdrafted, in the 3rd round of this past draft, as AD would have liked to have put it. I think that there's a chance that they can try to. Don't hang your hat on it, Chargers fans. I'm not trying to be first. Harbaugh during the press conference, as AD and I spoke about earlier, I've still got it pulled up on my TV. He seemed to correct Joe Ortiz and kind of be the one to take command of saying, the answer is yes, we would be willing to pay him some extra dough to stick around as defensive coordinator.
Yeah. I mean, you can give him associate head coach. You can, again, add stuff into his contract, give him a succession plan. Harbaugh's only got 3 years left on his contract. There's options. There's stuff you can put in place to keep him in the building and keep him interested. But if he wants to be a head coach somewhere, I mean, looking at Steelers and Ravens roles, they're still out there. Ravens is where he's got previous ties.
Mike McCarthy is a hot name in Pittsburgh. For those of you who are not paying attention, McCarthy is from Pittsburgh. His dad owned a bar in Pittsburgh. There's some weird McCarthy ties there. I'm telling you right now, do not sleep on Mike McCarthy to the Pittsburgh Steelers, which to me, sadly enough, kind of solidifies the idea of Minter going to the Ravens.
Yeah, but imagine having to face Pittsburgh Steelers defense with Jesse Minter, with TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Joey Porter, Jalen Ramsey. That is not a place you want to go to.
I'm good on all that.
But next year, we go to the Ravens. We're on the road with the Ravens
I know.
in
Yeah.
Baltimore. That might be a game that I come into town for. We'll see.
Hey, no matter what, you guys are going to see BoltBlitz in a lot of different places.
Yeah. So I'm coming across for a 4-day weekend for one. It'll be Denver, Seattle on the road. That'll be a mental game. And Baltimore.
We're going to let everybody know with so much advance notice. Meet the Gentle Giant, who is the co-host of BoltBlitz Uncut. This one of the strongest, and I got to quit. I got called out the other day for saying that you're the smartest O-line guy I ever met. He is one of the, and when I'll tell you off air who it was.
Okay.
He is one of the most brilliant offensive line minds I've ever been around. It's one of the reasons why I really was making it a point to see if I could get him to be a part of anything BoltBlitz related. And then it just ended up being a bonus that he actually has so much tight end acumen as well. But when I tell you hey, there's David Crab Cakes. Man, why are you talking about food, David Shaw? We bring up Baltimore, and of course, Shaw's like crab cakes. Man, I picture you like Homer Simpson when you're watching this show.
Oh no, Baltimore blue crab. Oh, I want all of those. There's blue crab. I need some of those in my life.
I love y'all. I love everybody who tunes in. We're doing a little bit different tonight. We're not only on YouTube, we're also on Facebook. The Twitter feed failed miserably, and I'm not sure why. It did not go through. So I will look into that. It's just we've had enough people tuning in and out for whatever reason. We're going to keep going with the list. Tony Jefferson.
Yeah. Now he stated he wants to be around for 2 more years. I'd sign that check. The guy that we've
affordable 4 interceptions this year.
Yep. Hall of Fame preseason player.
Yeah.
No, I would absolutely. If he wants to be around for 2 more years, like, keep him. There's zero reason to say no. He's proven himself to be far too valuable as a mentor and as a player. Whether we bounce him back and forth from the practice squad or not, he is too good of a person. And if we don't,
look at the safety, 80. Look at the safety position.
Yeah.
Derwin James is a second-team All-Pro slot corner. Elijah Molden off injured. I'm excited about R.J. Mickens. I think he'll be great. I expect him to be somebody who doesn't necessarily reach the all-pro level of a Derwin James at any position, but I do believe that he can be a stalwart moving forward after a couple more seasons. They need a little help back there. Kendall Williamson, he's an exclusive rights free agent. Didn't get to see a lot of him this year. I think you have to bring back T-Jeff, especially if you don't want to make the entire Bolt fam light the Bolt on fire.
Or you don't want to make him a Ram.
Oh, don't even sit. Yeah, not another one.
Yeah,
do that again.
Yeah, you don't want to do what. Yeah, no, if they're led to believe that he wants to play for 2 more years, do you not think that the Rams might want to have a chat if he leaves the Chargers building? That would not be a nice situation. And we play the Rams before next year.
He brings too much. He's too supportive of the players. The players all look up to him. They all know that he's always around the ball. Here's a tough one, Jamari Sawyer, and it's the price tag, right?
I wouldn't keep him regardless. Like, no,
okay.
No. When it comes to Thalia, like, his best position is left tackle, but he's too slow and unexplosive to actually be able to do anything. Now, the charge when Alt went down, when Slater went down preseason. For a large part of the year, our best run was like a pin and pull off the left tackle position. One of the reasons why Deculus and Penning was using that position is because they could maintain that. I think they almost had to abandon their best individual run play because Jamari Sawyer is too slow and unexplosive to be able to use it. And he's good in pass pro. He's passable. He's good. But yeah, there's too many deficiencies that he has. He can't play guard. He isn't very good at right tackle on the few snaps that he's actually had. He can only really play left tackle, which was his college position. I'm not willing to pay $10 million a year to do that. No, absolutely not. Well,
and then you look at his estimated market value, and it's way above that. I appreciate everything that he did, especially protecting on the left side there out of nowhere when Slater went a few seasons ago. He didn't play well.
He played well enough, but not good. So yeah, his estimated market value according to Sports Track is 9.824 million per year.
No.
Like, no, like, who else? Who's next?
Tucker Fisk.
No, I
I mean,
mean,
I don't even know who the OC is, so that one's a little
yeah.
tough. I just don't. Are we done with that experiment? I guess.
I think it's probably time to put a pin in that. I mean, we've had so many guys from that Stanford team in through the over the last couple of years. From that Stanford team, we've had Simi Fehoko, who was on the same Stanford team. We've had Foster Sorrell on the same Stanford team. But they all played together at Stanford, and we seem to get the bad ones, ignoring the fact that the left tackle was Walker Little.
I know who's been great.
Or the center was Drew Dolman. We got the bad ones. Yeah.
I love hearing Drew Dolman's name brought up. Just not for anything BoltBlitz related, just because there was a show that out there, the head show, the host of that was very vocal about how he would be the worst decision ever. And the non quote unquote followers of the big shows kind of roasted the host for the entire season, while Bradley Bozeman failed countless times each game. Yeah. So it holds a near and dear place in my heart. Let's get to some running backs here. Kamani Vidal and then Jarrett Patterson. I think Vidal's got to come back, and I think Patterson, for the right whatever capacity, I think he might be out of practice squad eligibility. But your thoughts on those two running backs?
Vidal, he's going to be your solid number 2, number 3. Patterson, hang on.
32, ran hard, didn't get a lot of opportunities. He would be cheap as hell, but I mean, is it time to just find a young guy?
Yeah, bring him back. Let him fight it out in camp for a running back 3 or 4 role. I've got no problem with that. There's going to be a bunch of undrafted free agents coming in. Let him fight with the kids and see how much he wants it. See what he's got left in the tank in camp. Who you got next?
I think we ran through them all. The only one left, and we touched on him just a skosh, was Kendall Williamson. Dean Leonard, sorry. Dean Leonard.
Yeah, special teams aides. Yeah. I'm bringing that guy back. So the couple we've actually missed as well. Would you bring back Khalil Mack? My answer is no.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I have Mack.
We missed Khalil Mack.
Yeah, but I have him as a no on mine above the rest of everything.
So his estimated, despite the fact that his production for this year was the second worst of his entire career, his estimated market value,
28 hurries.
Yeah, it's the second worst of his entire career. Despite all of that, his Sports Track estimated market value has actually gone up from last year. So for 18.4 million for the next year, and it's like, no, because I'm going to give that money to Adafe Owe.
Adafe Owe, okay.
Adafe Owe is going that money, and it seems like some
Thule extension.
Pardon?
A Thule extension in the near future.
That's next year. That's next year
as the season rolls over in March.
Yeah, they're gonna have to have that conversation, and from what Daniel Popper has said, that's gonna be a 9-figure extension. Which okay. Yeah, that's going to be $100 million plus extension. That's going to be a mega job. When it comes to Mac, there may have been some sort of indication that he's not coming back. So there was I'm not sure if it was a tweet or an Instagram, something from Derwin James.
Working out with Khalil.
Yeah, I'm going to miss doing this. So that's not a person that you're not planning to see during the offseason. That's the guy that's getting out of town.
Real quick, let me do this, 80. We're not breaking news or anything like that, but there was a post that was shared to the BoltBlitz co-host group regarding, and it's out there for everybody to see. But where Derwin James and Khalil Mack were working out together, and Khalil Mack is heard saying, "I'm going to miss doing this." Now, I want to pose this: are we sure that's not old? I feel like he did that last offseason.
I don't recall that from last season, so I'm willing to be corrected. But
I'm not positive. But anyway, I just feel like out of nowhere it reminds me of something. But anyway, he shouldn't be back at 18.4 million regardless.
No, not a chance.
it takes away from Odafe. It limits you in what you can do regarding locking up Thule early, because you'd rather get on that contract once. I'm not saying as soon as the calendar year flips, but the sooner you get on it, the better it is, because if he does continue to put up numbers with a new defensive coordinator, or perhaps under Minter again, fingers crossed,
that number's going to go up.
That number just goes up.
Yeah. So the next one that we've kind of missed out, Trey Pipkins.
Oh God, you know why?
He's like, no, just like a U-Haul, just get him out of town. Like, bye, gone.
Like his contract's officially done, correct?
Yeah. So he's he.
That's why he's not on my list. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know.
So he's listed as
State Tom Telesco ass having ass motherfucker. No, I've been done.
Yeah. So he's listed by Sport Track as being a free agent this year. His previous contract was 3 year 24 million, something silly like that.
But they had to keep him, or the dead money this year would have hurt them too much, dude.
Yeah. So what he got that contract for was actually spending a summer working with Duke Manyweather, and had his best year.
Listen, there were flashes where I had to support the guy. He played well enough.
Yeah, and
don't earn you more contracts. He's got to go.
Yeah,
hold on. There's somebody else. Who else? There's one more.
Najee Harris.
Yeah, but what's his number?
Estimated market value 2.9, down from 5.25.
If he's recovered, if he can see with both eyes, and the Achilles is recovered enough, and by the way,
I'm taking that.
My explosion's all right. I would assume that a guy in the NFL would be well recovered from that after the time he's been off. I would pursue it for that number, possibly.
Yes. Yeah.
Harrison Vidal would have been fun this year.
Yeah, I'd bring him back just to see what he's got left in the tank, even if it's just like a 1 year prove it deal at 27 years old. Yeah.
I forget God damn. Felt like he was in Pittsburgh longer than that. My bad.
He's a young player as well, because I think Harbaugh would push to bring him back, because Harbaugh recruited him in high school for Michigan, and he flipped and went to Alabama. I think that's going to be, I think for 1 more year they're going to aim to bring him back, or they should, depending on what his medical state is.
Exit interviews. We didn't talk about this in the pregame, but I want to bring up a little bit of this. Trey Harris, our move tight end, if you will, the Chargers move tight end. He talked about, he'd like to see the quick game utilized quite a bit more. He echoed what we've been saying during the Greg Roman offense since BoltBlitz started talking about the Greg Roman offense.
Yeah, so the quick game would be more towards the West Coast style offense. That speed and shorter routes, that would be a Shanahan McDaniel style.
You don't have to be those things and get the ball out quick. Get some screens out there. You can throw a screen to a running back in the NFL. It works quite effectively.
Yeah, Daboll does that. Daboll does that. But yeah, I do kind of agree. So one of the things I did hear, which again we've not discussed, is one of the veterans. Now I don't know how legit this actually is, but it does come from a Chargers beat writer on one of their private chats. One of our veterans allegedly requested his release during the season, being so frustrated with the Greg Roman offense. Yeah, this is probably news to you. I heard it on Thursday. So one of the Chargers beat writers has a paywall chat that I can get around, I'll say. And I heard it directly out of the individual's mouth that one of the Chargers offensive players actually did ask for his release during the season and was told no. But that person is unnamed. So
cool.
Maybe Keenan, maybe Becton. He stated during his exit interviews that he was really frustrated with the Greg Roman offense. Maybe it was Becton.
I would lean Becton. That being said, I don't talk about the things that people tell me off air, you dickweed.
Oh no! But this was something that
Jesus Christ.
A Chargers beat writer actually said that for his paid subscribers. So this is semi-public knowledge. It's not the private stuff that we talk about. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying you would ever do anything. I know you don't tell anybody anything I tell you.
Oh,
But
no.
so let's go to this one then. Here's the bottom line. Let me finish with this, not correction, but just a solidification of how I feel regarding this. You do not have to have a Shanahan, McVay, or any other fucking offense in the NFL to throw screens, throw bubbles, get the ball out quickly, run slants, run drags. You run mesh. Come on, every playbook has mesh in it. Do not give me that. Listen, 7 and 9-year-olds run mesh. God damn it! If the coach knows what they're doing, drags to get open, especially against man. Lad McConkey. This is what I want to talk about during the exit interviews. Defeated, not just in the moment, about the entire season. So how much of that we talked about Keenan a little bit, but do you think that, let's say Keenan's not back, can they get him enough footballs, or does this thing kind of drag on?
Yes, I think if there's one less mouth to feed, then there's going to be more options for him. There's going to be more balls available for him. It's just up to him to catch them. If Keenan isn't on the field, you're going to have KLS, you're going to have Trey Harris. So there's going to be somebody on the field, but having a little bit more seniority, he's probably going to be higher up in Herbert's reads, rather than just looking for Keenan all the time.
So here's the deal. Do you think that 10 trusts Lad as much as he trusts Keenan? And is that one of the reasons why you're never going to hear a word from fucking 10 otherwise, regardless. No. But do you think that 10 will try to do something to get Keenan back? And does that even matter at this point?
10 apparently doesn't want to be a GM, and he's not involved in any of the process. Apparently not, but we know
how he changed his mind. He hasn't said anything to that effect yet.
Yeah, so we know Lad and Herbert are really close off the field. If you follow Ivor on social media, Lad McConkey's wife's she Instagrams a lot. So if you see, you'll see just how close they are off the field. They've got to build that relationship back now. Have a month off by all means, then get back to a practice field somewhere and start working out and rebuilding that relationship. Because if Keenan isn't back, then you're going to have to find somebody else you trust. Pull a leaf out of Brady's book. He used to fly in everybody to an unnamed place in the mountains, and they used to run routes with like 7-8 guys.
Every off season for a month, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, he would literally say, "Right, be at this airport at this time. I've got a private jet bringing you to here. You're staying with me for a month. We're going to figure this shit out." And this is after a Super Bowl. Like that is the level.
Or a few, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, from what we understand, Herbert's got a ranch in Oregon. You could land a helicopter there, get him in. just bring them in. I'm sure you've got a nice bit of flat land that you can use as a football field somewhere. You've probably even got a football field installed in this ranch in Oregon.
Man, they can fucking practice here in the good old fucking Oakland County in my backyard. They can land a helicopter back here. We got enough acreage back there. They can just
exactly.
Put it right
so there's no excuse. I want this is the kind of stories I want to be hearing, because I don't want to hear this nobody sees each other. Oh, you text each other. No. A season like this, you've got to rebuild your relationships with your receivers. So I want to see, KLS. I want to see Trey Harris. I want to see McConkey, Gadsden. You need to be at Herbert's farm, doing whatever you need to be doing to actually rebuild your relationship and actually get the timing and actually go into the season hitting the ground running.
No, I think that's pretty accurate. Richie, our boy.
Richie.
Good old Richie, he's saying YouTube is having that hiccup shit when muting the stream makes it play.
Oh.
Well, hopefully we haven't muted it too much. Oh, yeah. Okay, he can hear us. Never mind. And listen, here's the deal. The Herbert thing, would we all love to see him be Mr. Personable? I would love that. Yeah. Saying him on stage, who the fuck would tell? I don't know country music bullshit. So, on stage with Ladd and Bozeman. Who was that? Fucking Zach Miller? Or
I have no idea. Country music didn't exist in my orbit.
Names are where they're singing country music, but they're all singing in the mics together. The Chargers, Ladd, Herbert, and Brad. I didn't mean to make all that rhyme, but there was some attempt at building a rapport.
Yeah.
But how much more important is it that they try to build that rapport off the field and actually maybe, I'm not saying take a page out of the Brady book, but what if he did say, how about we just meet at the fucking bowl?
Yeah, again, yeah,
And
do it.
getting ready.
You've got to see a signal of intent from the team now. And I want to
Starts
see that.
with 10, doesn't it? Even more than the coaches.
Yeah, I want 10 to be a leader, and he just isn't. Like I say, with this whole process.
17.
Sorry, say that again.
I said, are we spoiled by 17, Phillip Rivers?
Yeah, I mean, he used to pick up guys in his. He used to have his own personal show for picking guys up to bring them into practice. I mean, his who was his backup at the time when he first moved on to LA? Kellen.
There are a lot of guys.
Yeah, Kellen. Sorensen? No. Anyway, yeah, when they first moved to LA, Rivers didn't move north. He stayed in San Diego. And he used to pick up players who lived in San Diego, were in his private car, and they all used to drive in together. And he installed this 50-inch TV in this big old van that he used to have chauffeur driven every morning on the freeway. And he used to run over stuff. He used to run through plays. He used to essentially conduct classroom in the back of his van.
Oh yeah, well, it wasn't just a regular van.
Oh no, it was kitted out. It was kitted out for the family. So you had enough seats in there for a full classroom,
a whole classroom, and then of course Phillip to sit in the king's chair and do whatever the fuck he wanted.
Yeah,
Richie, it may have something to do with the fact that we're broadcasting on Facebook as well. I'm going to have to look at the post game show, if you will, and go over that and see if it's better and fix it from there. If you mean as far as just me taking 80 off the screen, then I just need to leave us both on the screen the whole time.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, he's like, I don't like being on the screen by myself anyway. 80, here's the deal. We're sitting at about 52 minutes anyway. Any parting thoughts or anything you want to make sure that we cover before we get out of here?
At this point, I want to see a signal of intent from the team. So, like, it's all very well and good, like fans posting up mock drafts, but until we know who's in place, your mock drafts mean nothing. We need to get this elevated and get these hires done as soon as possible. So, I mean, the Browns, they were interviewing 2 people a day every day from day one. Unless a candidate's still in the playoffs, you can talk to any of these guys now. So you can do your in-person interviews, and then you can do video calls first. So unless they're still in the playoffs, start talking to people 2 a day. Like, there's no point leaving the building until you start talking to all the people you can. Do your virtual interviews with them. You could do 2 or 3 a day, because there is actually a limit. There is actually a limit on how many you can do. I think the max interview time per the NFL rules is 3 hours. So 9 hours of interviewing, you could feasibly do 3 a day. Say yes, say no. I just want to see some more movement in this, and then obviously you've got to really kind of put the screws into Minter to figure out what he's doing. Keep him. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Again, it's a lot for them to deal with this offseason. And as I said on the last show before we fired Mr. Burger King, is we need to kind of
put it back on.
Yeah, that's what I was reaching for it. Yeah, before we fired Mr. Burger King, like, this is going to be a long, hard process to actually like go and get a new DC if Minter leaves. But now you've got to the point where you're having to go for a DC and an OC now, and you've only got a month before the combine, and then it's in about 5 or 6 weeks' time the combine starts.
Yeah,
you need to have somebody in place by that point, and then you need to bring all your new hires.
Well, before that, no, hold on. You just switched me up. Now I'm trying to be patient with this process. Now I'm with you. I don't want to wait 5 or 6 weeks. You have to start talking and hiring everybody, getting everybody on the same page. That shit is here.
Yeah, you need your O-line coach. You need to be doing on-field drills with guys, because you're going to have to rebuild like 3 of your 5 starting offensive linemen. So you're going to need to be on field doing drills and talking to guys. You can't. The way he said when it comes to the O-line coach, as he said in the interview, like he wants the new offensive coordinator to be a big part of that process. Well, you have to get the offensive coordinator in first before you even get the O-line coach. Hey, Richie, yeah. There we go. Yeah, so you have to get your offensive coordinator in place before you go and get your O-line coach, and you've only got 5 weeks to do that before the combine.
No, they have about 8 days. Sorry, I'm bullshit. No, you need a month. Listen, you know better than I do, maybe. They need to get all of that continuity in on the game plan before they ever get anybody on that staff. Because some of them have a little input, not over the scouts and the GM, but they're going to ask what they want to do.
Yeah.
Ortiz is going to want to know what they want to do. So, like, the sooner the better. Let's not get the bed wetter. Let's figure this shit out now. Let's not wait forever. 80, you know how we end these shows.
Yeah.
You're the O-line guy. You're the tight end guy. I need you to tell everybody where they can find your shit. And what are you up to next?
Oh, you've not got the ticker at the bottom that we had previously. But, just find me on Elon Musk, that X, Twitter, at ADYSIMONS. O-line and tight end is my usual stuff. You'll find me on there. And I'm pretty frequent nowadays.
Yeah, he's incredibly frequent, and he's cooking. Let me tell you, he's cooking with grease. He's cooking with fire. He's cooking with diesel. He's cooking with gasoline, all that fucking fiery bullshit. Napalm, jet fuel, whatever it takes to get shit done. If you haven't started paying attention yet, please do. Not just to Bolt Blitz Uncut, but everything that 80's doing. And every now and then we get a little funky over here on my end as well. You can follow me at BOOGAPETERS on all my social media accounts. Unless it's the old people app, and then that's just good old Dave Peters. We went a little longer than we thought we were going to, but 80 had to find a way to spring that crown back out, and I'm glad that he did. Lots going on, Chargers fans, Bolt fam. It's a long off season. We've got a full schedule coming up. Be sure to tune in every Monday to our Twitter accounts at Booga Peters, at BoltBlitz Uncut, at 80 Simons, and you guys will see the schedule every Monday morning, and it will kind of break down that our guests. Our Media Mondays, our Tuesday turned back the clocks. What we do on Tuesdays now is we're going to be interviewing former Chargers. Wednesday, my weekly segment with our producer / co-host Taylor Bloom. Thursday, I'm going to take a little break every now and then until I decide that we can fill that day with something else. Friday, Fan Perspective Friday. Fans, let your voices be heard. Quit sitting on the sideline and just chirping on social media. Put your face and your name and your money on it.
Yeah, come talk to us. Yeah, Fan Perspective. Come talk to us. Yeah, we'll put you on camera. You can tell us about your journey as a Charger and tell us about how you feel. This will be an avenue you come and talk to us.
Another segment that you can come and talk to us on, of course, is Sundays, my weekly segment with none other than 80 Simons, the co-host of the show. 80, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you. Man, Richie is saying that the YouTube audio is complete dog shit still.
Man. Yeah, we're going to have to check that out. We're going to have to have a look at that.
It's got to be something with us being live on YouTube as well, or Facebook as well. We'll cancel out YouTube for the next, we will cancel out Facebook for the next segment, the next show. We're flirting with some stuff. We're experimenting as we go into the off season, folks. Thank you so much for your patience as we work through the bugs. We'll figure it out. We have an incredible producer, and she's so much better at doing these things than I am. On behalf of 80 Simons, I'm Booga Peters. This is Bolt Blitz Uncut. Tune in soon. Stay tuned.